Hello class, welcome to today's lesson. Today we'll be learning how to find the volume and surface area for a cylinder, a prism and compound shapes. Our learning intentions for today are to know the processes to find the volume and surface area of these required shapes and to work in groups to solve complex problems. Let's start with finding the volume. What is volume? Volume is the amount of space that is enclosed within a container. We will first look at prisms. Your first step is to find the area of the base or the cross-sectional area. If you click on the number 1, you'll be taken to a list of area rules you will need to use. The final step is to multiply this area by the height, which leaves you with the rule volume equals area of the base times the height. Next up, we have a cylinder. Firstly, you will need to find the area of the base. As a cylinder always has the same shaped base, your rule is area equals pi times the radius squared. The radius is indicated on the diagram above. Just like before, your next step is to multiply this area by the height. This leaves you with the rule volume equals pi times the radius squared times the height. Lastly, we have compound shapes. The first step for these is to break the compound into separate shapes. As seen in the diagram in the top left corner, this compound is made up of a triangular prism and a rectangular prism. For the second step, using your knowledge from previous parts of this video, you need to find the volume of each element of the compound. The final step is to add these volumes together to calculate your final answer. As for the units used for volume, regardless of the shape, your answer will always be in units cubed. Now let's move on to surface area. First, let's define it. Surface area is the area of the outermost layer of an object. We will start with prisms. Your first step is to identify the elements of the prism using the net. By clicking on the number 1, you will be taken to an external program where you can view the nets of shapes. Your next step is to find the area of each element. By clicking on the number 2, you will once again be taken to a list of area rules. Finally, you need to add all of these areas together. For a cylinder, it is much the same process. The net can be viewed by clicking on the link in the blue circle. As the base of a cylinder does not vary, it has a specific area rule. This rule is area equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. You can see how this rule is achieved by clicking on the link indicated by the arrow. Now for the compound shapes. Firstly, you will need to identify the faces of the compound. Remember, if you decide to do this by splitting it into separate shapes, not all of the faces are on the surface. Next, you will need to find the area of each of the surfaces, and finally, add them all together. In terms of units for surface area, your answer will always be in units squared. Now let's sum it up. After watching this video, you should be able to define volume and surface area, find the volume and surface area of the required shapes, and know which units to use for each problem. What we are now working towards for later lessons is remembering the rules and solving challenging problems. Now it's your turn. By clicking on Padlet, you will be taken to a class Padlet where you will find worksheets, additional how-to videos, challenge questions, a section for feedback, and it is a place that you can ask your teacher any questions. The password to this Padlet is maths1050. The Padlet has been labelled with what is and isn't compulsory. Anything labelled additional can be completed at home for extra practice. Fully worked solutions are in a separate Padlet, and you can ask your teacher to gain this password. There is also a section on the Padlet labelled examples. Here you will find worked solutions to questions that you have not been asked to do, and you can use these as a format for your working. Now for your final instructions. Number 1. Keep all your working from the problems in the Padlet. These will be collected by your teacher at the end of the lesson. Number 2. Remember to provide feedback in the allocated section of the Padlet. And number 3, and most importantly, try your best. Don't forget to comment any questions you may have on the Padlet, and if you have the same question as someone else, please like that comment so that your teacher can address this question. Good luck and happy problem solving!